So we are going to continue with the cartilages of the larynx. So here's the whole larynx again. Remember we did the hyoid bone, which is up here, and we did the thyroid cartilage, which is right here. And in this one we have hyoid bone, thyroid cartilage, and in this one, hyoid bone, thyroid cartilage. This big cartilage that looks like a shield. All right, second biggest cartilage of the larynx is this one called the cricoid. So here it is. It is underneath the thyroid. It's covered up here a little bit. On this side you can see it's smaller in front and then it gets bigger in back. So it's the opposite of the thyroid cartilage here on this model. This is the front of it, right? And then on the back it gets bigger. It goes up to here. All right, this model is the easiest to see, right? So here's the front, the cricoid cartilage, quite thin up here, and then it gets bigger in back, and this whole structure is the cricoid cartilage. All right, the arch is this front point, this front part that's small. So this is the arch of the cricoid cartilage. Here is the arch in this one, all right? And here is the arch in this one, this front part. Then the superior cricoid notch, just like there was one on the thyroid here, on the cricoid there's one back here in the back, the superior cricoid notch. And you can't really see it in these other models. It would be up here, but you can't see it so well. So there's a little notch there, superior cricoid notch. The articular facet, then it only has two articulate facets. So that's articulate facets, it always where it's touching something else, and in this case it's another cartilage. So this right here is going to be the articular facet for the arytenoid. We're going to talk about this next. This is the arytenoid cartilage. So it's just right here. We'll talk about that in class, but there's a facet here for the arytenoid. It's just right underneath. That's where the two, so on the cricoid cartilage there's a facet for the arytenoid, which is above it. Here you can't really see it at all because there's muscles covering it up. Then there's also an articular facet for where it touches the thyroid cartilage, and the only place is right here. Underneath the inferior horn, it's articulating with the cricoid cartilage. So underneath that is the articular facet for the thyroid cartilage, one on each side. Here you can see it quite clearly. Here's the inferior horn. Here's the inferior horn, and underneath it is the articular. So on the cricoid cartilage is the articular facet for the thyroid cartilage. All right? And then the last thing is the cricoid lamina, and that's just like, I don't think I gave you the thyroid lamina. The right and left lamina, I should have told you that in the last one, but this is the right and left thyroid lamina. Right, here's the right and left. The cricoid lamina just has one. It's just kind of the whole plate in the back. And here you can see it pretty well. This whole thing is the cricoid lamina. So there's kind of the cricoid lamina, and then there's a cricoid arch. All right, now we'll do the arytenoids. So on this model, it's very hard to see the arytenoid at all, but it's this little guy right here. They are kind of pyramid shapes, but they do have a little curve like this. So this one actually looks more accurate in terms of how it looks. This one you can hardly see it at all. I'll pull it apart, but I don't think you can really see it inside either. So normally this is how the arytenoid, this is showing you the arytenoid right here, kind of underneath, but it's covered in muscles, so normally you can't see it very well. This is the one we can see quite well. All right, so here are the arytenoids. The apex is just going to be the top, although if you look close, there's another little cartilage that is sitting on top of the arytenoids. So the apex of the arytenoids is actually right underneath. There's a little bit of a line there. So right there is the apex of the arytenoid, because another cartilage that we're doing next is going to sit on top of it. All right, then the base is obviously the bottom, just like before. It's going to have something called the triangular fovea, and you can kind of see, so what you're seeing right here is the vocal folds. All right, right in here there's a little fossa, we would say. the triangular fovea or triangular fossa, sometimes it's called. And that's a little indentation. You can kind of see it, right? That there's little indentations there. You could put a finger right in it. That is the triangular fovea or triangular fossa. The vocal process, you can't see it now because it's within the vocal folds, but it comes out right from this. So let's do this first. This is the vocal process, sorry. This part of the arytenoid. So the arytenoid has kind of three, right? It's shaped like a pyramid. So it has this corner, both the outside corner, then it has the inside corner here, and then it has this corner here that sticks right into the vocal folds. So the corner that sticks into the vocal folds, both these cases, this is called the vocal process of the arytenoid. So here's the vocal process of one arytenoid, here's the vocal process of another arytenoid over there. All right, this outside part is called the muscular process, and it's more clear over here because you can see a lot of muscles are attached. So this corner is the muscular process, and this corner doesn't have any name that I know of. It probably does have a name, but you don't have to worry about that because it's not so important. Then the vocal ligament. From the vocal process, there is a ligament that comes forward and goes to the front of the thyroid cartilage. So it comes from both vocal processes of the arytenoid, goes across and touches the thyroid cartilage in the front, and that ligament is part of the vocal folds. That's why you can't see it here, because it's inside the vocal folds. It's part of the vocal folds. All right, then we'll just really quickly do the corniculate. So the corniculate cartilage is the one that is on top here. We said that there's a little line there. This is the corniculate cartilage. It's just on the tip of the arytenoid. So in this picture, I think they're trying to say here the arytenoid is here and this little tip is the corniculate cartilage. So that's the corniculate cartilage. And this one, oh, you can kind of barely see it. They have a little bit of another mark there. There's another number right at the top. That's the corniculate cartilage. Underneath is the arytenoid. Okay. Then the cuneiform cartilage is not in this model at all, the cuneiform cartilage, because that one is hanging out in the aryepiglottic folds, and this one is just cartilages, right, and the vocal folds. It doesn't have any of the membranes and the ligaments on it. This one does. So here, the vocal folds are going to be down here. We'll pull them apart and show you that later. But here is the cuneiform cartilage, and there's one on this side too. So the cuneiform cartilage is just kind of hanging out by itself in these aryepiglottic folds that are right here. So this is the cuneiform cartilage. All right, in this model, it's not really marked, but it would be this little bump right here. All right, but so this would be the model I would show if I was going to show you the cuneiform cartilage. It's hanging out in the aryepiglottic folds. It's not attached to any other cartilage.